Hello, I'm here at the iconic auctioneers sale at the NEC Classic Motor Show, November 2025, and I've come to have a look at some of their cars before it opens to the public. And I'm going to particularly focus, there's nearly 350 cars in total, plus all sorts of other lots of automobilia and motorbikes. But I'm going to focus on cars with a celebrity or TV connection, because there's quite a handful, particularly in the Saturday sale. So I'm going to have a look around those and also pick out a few others that interest me. So let's start with Harry Metcalfe's cars, Harry's Garage and Harry's Farm, which is a channel I find quite interesting these days. So this is his first lot, which is the Mark 1 or Series 1 Land Rover. So I think it's the first car he featured on his channel. It's guided £10,000 to £12,000, so not a lot actually for a Series 1. And I'm guessing it's probably in reasonable nick because he uses it around the farm quite extensively, or used to, and I think that's why he's selling it, because he's tending to use his Range Rover a little bit more often. But I really like the Series 1, and I drove one some while ago that had a bit of history, sort of a military history. Quite an event. So the second of Harry Metcalfe's lots is this one, the 1978 Jaguar XJC, the coupe, pillarless coupe, much modified and updated and improved by Tom Lenthal mostly, but also the bodywork's done in this. It's actually a bespoke colour, sort of a sage green metallic. I think it was inspired by an Aston Martin colour, if I remember rightly. But there's a whole series of videos on that one, and I think he's got it to where he, as good as he can be. So he's decided to sell, to get rid. That one is guided 60 to 80,000. So that's quite a premium over the typical XJC, but it is quite a premium option for what he's done to it, or what he's had done to it. So that's kind of understandable. So this next one of Harry's is probably the more famous of them, of the three that are here for sale, the Lamborghini Espada. It's a 1971 car. He's had quite a lot of work done to it. It's featured in numerous episodes on his channel. And he's done a number of trips particularly into Europe, into Italy with it. But it's just beautifully done. The interior is lovely. You've got this sort of big glass sunroof, panoramic sunroof, and the paintwork is in great order. And obviously, the work that was done by Ian Tyrrell on the engine. And again, they had to redo it several times. But yeah, beautiful car. Guided 90 to 110,000 pounds. So this one, really special. You could argue it's the Queen of Range Rovers, because it is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's car. It was supplied new to her. It's 2007. And it's the L322, as everyone seems to believe is peak Range Rover. And it has all of the usual HMQ additions, like the side step to help her get in. I'm guessing it should have the side handles up here, up in the pillars. Oh no, interestingly this one doesn't. So there was one, the last one that was sold had additional handrails or grab handles up there to help her get in, because she was quite a diminutive lady. But the last one of hers that sold, it was 132,000 previously, and then just recently one sold for 175,000 pounds. This one's only guided at 50 to 60,000. So are they underguiding it in the hope that it will go bigger, or do they think the thrill of owning one of Her Majesty's cars has gone? I don't think it has. I think this will do better than that. So continuing the royal theme, this was from the Royal Protection team, and actually this one carried, it didn't carry, it accompanied the Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip to the wedding of William and Kate, or William and Catherine, in whenever that was, 2011. So again, another, I think it was at the 322. Nice looking vehicle though. And that's guided 18 to 24,000. Looking, is that? I don't think they're armoured. but obviously it would have had some particular equipment in it that would have enabled the Royal Protection Team to respond on a very rapid basis. Very different type of celebrity owned this one. Kate Moss supermodel. So it's a L322 Vogue Range Rover, and it's guided 10 to 15. So that's probably about what a standard one is. I don't know what sort of premium that Kate Moss ownership would add to something like this. But as everyone seems to agree, so including Harry Metcalfe and Jeremy Clarkson, the L322 is the Range Rover to have. And you know, the Vogue I think was one of the top models, wasn't it? I think the Autobiography came out just ahead of it, but the Vogue is certainly well appointed. So if I said I was going underground to a town called Malice to have a look at this one, you'll probably be able to guess that it was formerly owned by Paul Weller of the Jam and the Style Council, and now solo artist. He had it for, him and his family owned it for 18 years. So it's a 1972 Mercedes-Benz 250 saloon in pretty good, no, not pretty good, I'd say beautiful condition. Lovely sort of interior. I don't think it's leather or MB text, I think there might be leather. I know Mercedes at that time did a great job in creating a vinyl that looked an awful lot like leather and actually lasted longer than leather would. But this is guided at 40 to 50,000 pounds. Now I don't know what these would be if it hadn't got a Paul Weller connection, but I suspect a fair bit less than that. But it is a very good example and beautiful sort of dark blue colour. And there he is, the man himself pictured with the car. So it's a bit of a cheat to add this one to my list, because it's not really a TV car or film car, but it is a homage to that. So it's obviously a homage to the Ford Mustang in Bullet, 1968 fastback, and it's in the Highland green, the nice sort of turbo wheels and black interior. I don't know if this one's a manual or, yeah, this one's got a manual box in it as well. So yeah, that would be really nice. It's guided 85 to 100, possibly a little bit on the high side, but fastbacks do tend to go for a lot more than their kind of notchback or saloon cousins. But it's beautifully done. So I must confess, I haven't watched the programme, but I understand it's something to do with a guy getting very frustrated with a bee that he can't just seem to get rid of. And at certain points in the programme, he starts taking it out on the car because he's trying to get the thing out of the car or whatever. So the car was pretty smashed up. I think the dashboard was smashed, the rear window was smashed, but the car's been mostly repaired, and the only bit that they decided to keep, or that Rowan Atkinson wanted to keep as a sort of a memento of the film, was this little panel here that was cut out by him in the programme, and he's decided to just get it sort of sealed back in as a bit of a talking point. So that's that car. It's offered without reserve. So I don't know, what does a Series 1 3.8 litre coupe, E-Type coupe typically go for? Probably less than they were a little while ago. They're not doing so well at the moment, but I'm thinking 40 to 50 maybe, it might be a bit under. So I think it should go for more than that, but no guide because it's no reserve. So whatever is the bid at the final hammer is what someone's going to pay for that. Well, plus fees. So featuring a couple of Aston Martins now, a couple of Aston Martin Vanquishes. The first one is a 2+2, bought from new by actor Hugh Grant. The story goes that during the filming of About a Boy, his co-star, the young Nicholas Hoult, kind of talked to him about how he was into cars and how he really liked Aston Martins, and allegedly, once filming was done, he went out and bought this V12 Vanquish. So obviously it's got his name in the logbook and everything, so it's it's all above board and genuine. Looks a nice car. It's a Solway grey, so it's got a slight blue tint to the grey, and it's a 2+2. Although, to be fair, a bit like most 2+2s, you're going to struggle to get much in the back of that, aren't you? But nice car. But it's guided. This is the interesting thing, and why I've picked out the one next to it as well. Guided the same as for this one. So this is 1 year younger. This is a V12 Vanquish as well. It's in blue. Mendip blue is the actual colour. And the mileage is not dissimilar. And the estimate is pretty much the same. So 40 to 50,000 pounds, either for this blue V12 Vanquish, this is not a +2, I think it's got the sort of boards at the back, or the Hugh Grant 2+2. So 40 to 50,000 pounds buys you either one of those. I'm not sure which one I'd go for, to be honest. I quite like the blue versus grey, it's more my thing. But I quite like Hugh Grant, so it would be a talking point, wouldn't it? So I'm particularly interested in this one, given that I live near Oxford. This is the Jaguar Mark 1 of 1956, 2.4 saloon, manual with an overdrive, as featured in ITV's programme Endeavour, which follows the sort of the early career of Inspector Morse, or as he became Inspector Morse. So this is the Mark 1. So in Inspector Morse, the sort of the earlier series of him in later career, it was a Mark 2 Jaguar, and obviously this is a Mark 1. So there's a few subtle differences. The easiest way to look at them really is to look at the sort of width of the pillars. So the pillars and the glass there, the pillars are much bigger and therefore the glass is much smaller all the way around the top part of the car on a Mark 1, or what became known as the Mark 1 after the Mark 2 came out. So this is the Endeavour car. It's guided 25 to 30,000 pounds, which I think is probably pretty low. I don't know if Endeavour had the same appeal as the original Inspector Morse series, but the Inspector Morse car was raffled off by the production company in 2002, and it achieved 53,000 pounds. It was then tidied up a bit and repaired and restored, and then in 2005 it made over 100,000 pounds. So maybe there's something for this one. As I said, I live near Oxford. If I had this in my garage, I would drive it around Oxford all the time. You could just imagine how many tourists would be starting to snap pictures of it, if indeed Oxford let you drive it around the city, because Oxford's becoming a little bit unfriendly toward cars. I think that's a slight understatement, but that's kind of where it is at the moment. Anyway, interesting lot to see how it does compared to the other Mark 1. So by way of comparison with the Inspector Morse or Endeavour car, the Mark 1, this is 1958 Mark 1, so a couple of years later. It's a 3.4, so it's got a slightly bigger engine, but it's got a not dissimilar guide of 20 to 25,000. But it's a beautiful example, and a lovely kind of, I think it's slightly greeny grey colour, but beautiful, beautiful car. This Ferrari has no celebrity connection, but just wanted to show you this one because it's slightly different from what you might imagine. So at first look it's a 308, but it's not, it's a 208 turbo. One of the giveaways, other than the fact that it says 208 on the back, is these little ducts here at the bottom, which presumably feed air into the turbo at the back, or in mid-engine where the engine is. And it was done for the Italian market primarily, because they had different tax rules around cars with a capacity of under 2 litres, and that's what this was about. So they had a 2 litre turbo back in the day. The day being, I think this is sort of, what's this, 1984, thereabouts. I've got the thing somewhere. No, it's 85, yeah, wasn't not a bad guess. 1985. If you think of what car companies are doing now, a smaller capacity engine with a turbo, very similar to what's gone on here. So these 208s obviously far less common than the 308, and therefore guided 85 to 95,000. I guess a good 308 is somewhere around 70 to 80. So another one that's no particular celebrity connection, unless you include Colin Chapman and Oliver Winterbottom from Lotus. This is the prototype Lotus Elite, 1972. This is chassis 0001A. And it's been fairly recently rediscovered, like many of these kind of cars with the fiberglass bodies. You've got a bit of blistering, sort of micro blistering to the paint. But it's been stashed away for 40 years and sort of rediscovered. Anyway, it's guided 15 to 20,000, which, you know, for the prototype car doesn't seem like a big uplift on what the standard model would be. So I guess the standards You're looking at maybe 10 for a decent one, I think, for an elite, maybe slightly more. And this is only 15 to 20, so I think that could well be undervalued. I think there might be a bit of a theme here today that if they're under-guiding to try and make them more appealing to people, make people more come forward with more bids. But yeah, anyway, it's a nice car, and it's a nice dark green colour as well. Now, I often feature Ferrari 612 Scaglietis in my films because I just think they're an absolute bargain. And this particular one is probably in the perfect spec. It's this sort of Tour de France blue with tan leather interior, and it's just beautiful. But the biggest thing about it that sets it apart is it's one of the quite rare manual gearbox versions. You see, you've got the open gate shifter there. So whereas a standard sort of automatic Scaglietti is around 50 to 60,000 pounds, and I think one of the bargains of the century, even if you can get it in this, particularly if you can get it into this kind of spec. But manual, this is guided at 100 to 120. So that's the premium. It's like double the price, pretty much, of an automatic equivalent. This is also quite a low mileage one, only 7,700 miles. So yeah, 100 to 120,000. But yeah, what a car! Beautiful, beautiful car. So that brings to a close my little walk around, looking at the TV and celebrity cars in the iconic auctioneers NEC Classic Motor Show sale. What ones did you like? Were any that surprised you in terms of what they were guided for or what they actually sold for? Which ones might you have wanted to own? Give me a like on the video, make a comment, and please subscribe to the channel. Give us a hype as well. I think there's this new thing called hype that you can do as well as a like. It's always good for us small creators. But thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.